pleasure being here with you this morning. Somehow I may not match your energy. I may not match your energy as we start, but trust me, probably as we go on, the energy will come. I like the other way of doing things in this, the normal curve. I like the normal curve of starting slowly and then the volume increases, right? Thank you so much. My name is Bijirwa Ambrose. Before I say anything, allow me and join me to thank Sir Elias Serugo, our CEO. It's really a wonderful morning for you, ladies and gentlemen, that we shall have this morning together. I'm telling you to thank him because I know here we are doing much of you. I am certainly sure, this is not a lie, that you are here. Your mind is much more about business, right? You want to change your lives. You want money, like you want that money. You want what? But wait a minute. Today, our conversation will not begin on that note. The conversation will begin on the note that we want to see you healthy. Health is the foundation of everything, right? And the CEO is saying that before actually you think you get that money, you must be healthy. Then you take out the products that you're going to give to people to become. There is a saying that you cannot give what you don't want, what you don't have. So there is no way how you're going to go out, take wellness products, supplements to people to be healthy when you're struggling. You get what I'm saying? Charity begins where? So it has to begin with us. Then later on, we shall take the message to the others. And that is why for me here, like he mentioned to you, like you look at me and you think I am very young. They have only have 10 years experience in the medical profession. What does that mean? That I'm not certainly young as you may think. How do I make it? What I preach is what I do what? It's what I do. So if I tell you that probably you're supposed to take 3 liters of water, it is what I do. I don't preach water and then I go the other side and take soda or wine. No. What I preach is exactly what and I do. And therefore, it should be the same thing you that are now in the wellness world that you should be doing. As you take the gentleman, if you stay with someone that you have to take Android tea, then you should have actually been the first person to test it, and then you can spread the gospel. If you're the lady talking about the hair, nail, and skin, then you should be the first person. You get it? Now, remember our products are supplements. Are we together? Our products are supplements. Now, if our products are supplements, then I would want that means that's the word supplement is an English word, right? It's an English word meaning adding to, right? Supplementing. You get it? You're adding it to. So today we are going to begin with what is that are we adding to? You get it? Because if, for example, you're going to get the Andro tea and you're giving it to a gentleman who is junking every day, day in, day out, drinking alcohol, not exercising, the likelihood is he's going to say that your product doesn't work. You get it? If you're going to take focus product to someone, either it is a child and this child is being fed on junk always throughout, yeah, going through all sorts of stress. This product, remember, it is supplementing, it is a supplement. So if it is adding to nothing, what will happen? The product will not work, and this person will say your product doesn't. It doesn't apply to only supplements. Even if you go to the hospital, you have hypertension, someone, a physician prescribes for you antihypertensives. If you don't change the lifestyle, if you don't go by proper nutrition, that is why if you have hypertension here on diabetes and you have already seen your physician without seeing a nutritionist, then that is wrong. Because the likelihood is the medicine will not work, and what will happen? This physician will keep, you go there and they're like, it has not worked, okay. They change or they add on the milligrams. Someone who began with 5 milligrams, they will put you to 10. You get it? Someone who was taking one type of medicine, now you're taking 2 or 3. Before you know it, your liver, your kidney, your heart have issues, and you're gone. That is why I preach the gospel called holistic health care, where it is not only one man's show or one man's product that you must swallow an antihypertensive only, where we will say you need supplement, you need to do exercise, you need to do ABCD. You get it? I hope none of you has been spreading the message telling someone that you see, when you take 100 years a man, even if you don't eat, even if you don't drink, everything of yours is sorted. Just take that, it is a miracle. I hope no one has been doing that. Because sooner or later they will realize that you were lying or you were wrong. Are we together? So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to be keen with everything that we shall share. I don't know whether this is going to be the first and the last, or it will be the first of the many interactions we shall have as a group or even individually. But the information we are going to share here is very key, very important for yourself to begin with. I know you must be familiar with maybe the information that is going to help you in business, but I say this begins with you. And when it is well with you, it is going to be well with others. Are we together? So let's take keen interest with what I will share. On the slides, there may not be so much that I will share with the slides. Part of the interaction that we're going to have here is based on science, facts that have been researched by many science, beginning with the 1800s up to date, but also with some that I have witnessed with myself, in my experience, myself alone. You get it? So, what I'm sharing here is the gospel truth. I normally tell people that for the words of Jesus or the Bible, they give life. But for words of professionals like me, give health. I don't know if you know the difference. You can have life. You can even go up to, let's say, 8 years or 90 years when you have life. But you may go around those years when you have pain and suffering. To begin with, if I may ask, we all have the New Year resolutions, right? New Year resolutions, New Year plans, New Year prayers. I want to sample a few people to tell me 2 things that were on their New Year prayer. I know many of you go to churches and prayer mountains on fast, right? On the eve of fast. I want you to tell me 2 things that were on your New Year resolutions and New Year prayer requests. You tell me, just 2 of you. I'll pick a gentleman and a lady. Sir, share with us what was the 2 things, first 2 things that were on your New Year resolutions and prayer requests.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My first 2 things. Number 1, I set a goal of becoming a platinum before I was at the company. It was not at school. Then also I said another call.
Prayer request and goals.
Yes.
This can be even prayer request.
I requested God to help me, and I made money out of Okada by 6 big cows before the end of this.
Okay. Mhm. Thank you so much. Now, more money, health. Or healthy, let's call it healthy. Now, these two things, you want to make more money. Let's begin with the gentleman. It's a wonderful thing to make money. But there is what makes you or enables you to do money. Yeah? Money is like the end goal. But the moment you wake up early in the morning, you need to find yourself fit, you need to find yourself healthy, you need to find your mind reasoning very well to juggle out things and achieve what you want to achieve. Right? She wants to be healthy and also have money. The same thing, right? Now, look at this. Many of you, like this gentleman and the lady mentions, you wake up every day and you have 24 hours. You're planning the input towards your goal, right? But if I may ask especially Hajat, that those were two of her goals right from the year began. And that means every day, that's what you're doing. That's what is on your menu. You're inputting. I have interacted with one of the friends around here and tells me by 8 she's here. She lives here around 8 p.m. Those are how many hours? Those are 12 hours. Now, 12 hours, if I may ask, those you dedicated them to interact with individuals here and ensure at least you're achieving your goal, either financial goal or it could be in terms of shillings or dollars. I do not know how much that is. Now, my question would be, all of us want to be healthy. I am sure every one of us wants to wake up when they are healthy. But what is the input if you wake up every day out of your 24 hours? You want to become rich, your input every day you wake up and go to work. But out of the 24 hours in a day, how many hours do you take to think about your health and say, okay, I think I need it. You first of all you think about, do I feel weak anywhere? No. What is that I have to do to maintain myself healthy? That is the first thing you think about it. What do I do? Does anyone of you wake up and plan that today I have to eat this? Do you exercise? Do you think about the environment you stay in that could have any impact on you? Is there any good towards your health or your well-being? Is it there? No. For Africans, in most cases, even sometimes including me, when it comes to our health, most things happen by default. That's why you wake up, you have hypertension. You wake up, you have diabetes. You wake up, you have cancer. But we all claim we want to be healthy. For the Christians or any believer, even in the prayer, you shout and even shed tears that you want to be healthy. That is in belief. But in action, what have you done out of the 24 hours? Even if it's 30 minutes that I am going to exercise, the exercise you do will happen by mistake when you're climbing stairs from a border from here up to this room. You do them by mistake. From there, you take your border and go back. You get it? Like our CEO said, when you go to the restaurant because you're already hungry, always say, Mere yonna. You get it? With time, I will show you the dangers of that. Let's begin by looking at a simple definitions as we progress to what the matter is. We all hear nutrition. What could nutrition be? It's just studying about how organisms and we are also organisms, okay? When we say organisms, we are all organisms. So we look at how organisms use food to support their life. That is all. By providing the nutrients help us for growth and overall well-being. Okay? So, strictly, I want us to have a feel of this. We know what health is. Maybe I didn't put a definition, but I will talk about what it is. When someone says you're healthy, they do not talk about merely absence of a disease, or there's another one we use called infirmity. Infirmity may mean that any other issue that may prevent you from maybe doing whatever you're supposed to do. That is what health is. Not mere absence of disease. Some people confuse that, and when they look at it, they're like, you're healthy. Just because maybe you don't have a flu or you're not coughing, they think you're healthy. No. Healthy is broad. You talk about emotions, you talk about psychological, you talk about the stress, and that is what health is. And now that health has pillars. Number one pillar is nutrition. Number two is exercise and movement. Number three is sleep. You can also call it rest. Number four is emotion. You can also strong mood. Emotion, strong mood. Then the other important and neglected is what we call the exogenous molecules. Exo meaning from outside. Anything that comes into you from the outside environment. One of them is the pharmaceutical. Those are the drugs that we swallow. Then the smoke, the one we either smoke deliberately or the one that we inhale when we do not know. Like for example, here we are inhaling smoke that is coming from these vehicles that are moving around. Anyone who lives in Kampala, the smoke we take in every day, especially with our old vehicles, you can't imagine it. It is the road. Then the other chemicals that we may swallow along food, the pesticides, you can't imagine them. Then others that we apply on ourselves deliberately, the perfumes, cosmetics, all those also account on our health. Sometimes we do not know. But all those, anything you put on your skin, it does not stop here on the skin. For the ladies, there is a company in the US which is battling with cases. It sells cosmetics that straighten hair and it changes colors of hair. It was found to be one of the leading carcinogenic or cancer-causing to female, to ladies. Shout out to the lady who has natural hair there. Clap for her. She has her natural hair. I don't think there's anything applied there. She's just here. Oh, great. Now, let's look at nutrition. And this is going to be our biggest part that we're going to talk about. Okay? And when I talk about something, the Catholics have they do that. Gunsi, the dara. Now this is the part we are going to. And if it hits you hard, please just accept and nod and say, Ngenda kulokoka. So, nutrition, as we all know, it is about the feeding, okay? But it is always more than just someone telling you, eat matoke. Are we together? It's about what we eat, not only that, but when, how, and how much of it. And we are going to be scoring ourselves, okay? We are going to be scoring ourselves. I'm going to do something here that will help us score. And you tell me whether you're a student, A student, or a B student, or a C, or a D, or you are an F. Are we together? Then, I'm going to explain a little bit about this. When you talk about the what, now we are going to look at what kind of food you're eating, how the nutrients it have, or the nutrient density in it does it have macronutrients. We're going to look at what all that is. Basically, we are looking at the food variety when we're talking about the what. Then when there's what we call meal timing when you eat your food. Does that matter? Yes, it matters so much. Some of us we eat when it is convenient, when you have time, that's when you eat. If food comes at night, it is okay. But that is something to discuss that we're going to discuss here. Then we have how mindful eating, food preparation, that will also ultimately help us in how this food is digested in our body. Then we talk about how much portion control, and now we're going to talk about what the portion control is. Then we have the term we call balance or varied diet, which is actually the most important thing that we're also going to look at now. Okay, so like we said, that you share what you have. You're not going to be unhealthy and then you're spreading the message of wellness out there that you have this product that is going to better someone. So it is very important for you to keep yourself with this knowledge. Some you will share and the other will help you. Are we together? So ladies and gentlemen, I want us to focus on this. Not only will it be for you, like I've told you, for your families, relatives, and your business partners that you're going to be interacting while you're doing this business. Let me begin with what, when it comes to food. I normally tell people that food is, when you look at food and the body, it's like when you look at this building and its materials. You get it? When a child is born, actually let's begin by looking at when someone conceives. At that very point, what the mother takes is going to impact on the whole being. Are we together? That's the first step. There is what we call the first 1,000 days. The first 1,000 days puts in account the days someone conceives like this, up to when the child makes 24 months. That is 2 years. Now, that is very key because when you mothers, and you know mothers of .com, some are stubborn. You know, there is a lady who was sharing with me, actually even making this fun on social media and said, I can't wait when I will get pregnant and I will be telling, I wake up my husband and tell him, honey, I want fried water. So many of you ladies especially, when you get pregnant, that's time you feel like you need to be stubborn. You know? Now you swallow everything. You like you think now such that since I'm pregnant, my husband cannot deny when I say I want KFC. You get it? And then you say, that is the bread thing, that's all I want. Not knowing actually you're punishing the little one that is in there. Are we together? But if all of that, I don't want to dwell much on that, but if all of that goes well, are we together? And someone is born healthy, then we say, almost every individual, someone say, is born with a clean sheet. The others call it a slide. When I say born with a clean sheet, that means you're born when you're healthy, and therefore you're expected to be healthy all throughout. What happens along the way is what will determine how you are going to be. Are we together? Now, let's assume that this child grows up to 18 years, of which I think everyone of us here is 18 years. If there is someone who's not 18 years, please show them the exit and help them go through the steps, because we will share some things which are not healthy for them, the growing teen. Now, if you're 18 years at that point and you're healthy, this is where I concentrate most. That I look at you as this kind of building the way it is today. When you look at this building, what do you think it may need to keep the way it is? What do you think? By the time when they were putting foundation, they put stones, they put bricks, they had to bring specific iron bars and type of cement, so we have stone pillars, and the farm house is put now with clean walls like you see them. Now that is another who is let's say 18 years. Probably they can no longer add height, the oral teeth have already come, they are okay. Now at that point, that's where you, an individual, take full responsibility of your health. At that point, if you fall drinking alcohol, it's not about your parents, it's not about your mother or your father negligence, it is entirely about you. You are an adult. That's why even you put on alcohol, they will put 18 what? 18 years and above. At that point, it is your responsibility. Are we together? And before I forget, I normally tell people that living in the modern world we are in today, everyone has a full-time responsibility toward themselves, especially upon their health. Are we together? So such a house, let's go back to the house. Such a house, all it needs today is to look at something has dirt in the wall, they can clean with water. Some paint has fallen off, they can clean the paint. This pillar has sort of glass inside, maybe one or two have fallen off, they just replace it. Now, that is the human body. Same thing. That once you're 18 years, you're healthy, your parents took care of you, you have not developed hypertension, juvenile hypertension we call it, or you have not developed juvenile diabetes, that is early childhood diabetes. You don't have any issues with vision. Are we together? You're not mentally ill. At that point now you take full responsibility of yourself. And now most of you will be interacting with those others. Now want to look at that full responsibility yourself. Are we together? Now this house, like I'm saying, it already needs that kind of maintenance. What is that maintenance? That's what I want to come to. Then, what is the mistake that is normally done? The mistake is normally done. You individuals, you go to this house, and again, you want to add more sand. You want to add, you see this pillar, you want to add more bricks, more sand and iron bars. These walls, you want to add more sand. You want to add more bricks. Do you know what will happen if you do that to this house? It is going to become heavy, and when it becomes heavy, it will fall down. Do you get it? It will fall down. Now that is how our bodies are. Once you are like the way I am today, I only need maintenance. But many individuals make the mistake and keep adding sand and block and bricks. What does that mean? When someone is young, we encourage them, or we shall be teaching them, give them much protein, give them milk every day, give them this, because the body is still growing, bones are still growing, the brain is still growing, they are very active, so they need intense nutrition, lots of food. You get it? Now, that lots of food, when that is now the building. That's how you bring out the building. Are we together? So once that building is up, you don't need again to keep adding sand. Now that's where we make a mistake, all of us here. You are already like I am today, but you want to ask a minute, you now. You get it? You're adding bricks before you know it. The falling and the bulging of a building to a human being is when you're going to become obese, you're going to grow your blood vessels with cholesterol. You get it? You're going to make your organs, all of them, get too much fat around them, and therefore they cannot function. The liver becomes a fatty liver. The heart attracts all the fat, and it can no longer pump blood as it's supposed to be. The kidney gets all those fats, and now it can no longer function as it's supposed to be functioning. It's regulation of toxins in the body. You get it? Vessels filled with cholesterol, then you end up with hypertension. You end up with too much inflammation that results into cancer. How does this happen? Now, we need the food to survive and do our daily activities. You get it? But you only need what is necessary for two purposes: to allow you do your daily work, or you may call them activities. Number two, maintain the normal functioning. Now, what do you need to do your daily work? You realize that when you eat, let's say, like posho, this posho gives us an ingredient or a nutrient we call a carbohydrate. Let's say if you take a plate of posho, it is giving you 15 maybe grams of carbohydrate. Now, however, depending on the nature of work you do, you may realize that you only need 5. This 5 is the one that is going to enable you to talk to people here, walk over steps, walk to the bathroom, shower, and do all your work. What happens to the 10? The balance of 10 that you have ingested in your body keeps there, and it moves around and then finds its level. It finds where it has to go. Now, this is what happens exactly. What will happen exactly is that the balance of 10, the body has a mechanism to keep reserve for you. You get it? We have 2 organs in the body that are responsible for keeping excess food that we all eat. The excess food is kept by number 1, liver. It has a capacity of 600 grams, and then the other one is in the fat tissue under the skin, and that one only has a capacity of 400. Now, look at this. When this gets full and this gets full, the balance, the excess, goes in other places where it is not supposed to be. I give another example here. That compare this with a tap of water, a sink at home, or a bathtub. If you have your sink here and it has an outlet, then you have this tap that is bringing in water. Now, this sink that you have, if to ensure that this water does not pour out into the house and damage so many things, what is supposed to be happening is that the water that comes in here should be the same amount of water that should be exiting from here. Yeah? Now, in a scenario where you find that water that comes in here is too much, this tap here brings in much water than this sink can exit. What will happen is that this water will pour out and then find itself into the house, and then everything will be damaged. That's how we actually normally have floods. That's how floods happen. You get it? So you have the flooding, and when flooding happens, everything in the house is going to be damaged and everything will be a mess. You get it? Now, it is the same thing with when you eat too much food that you do not need that too much for you to use, and what the body can save for purposes of saying, let's say if you're fasting, you can depend on it. Are we together? So the balance, this that is going to pour here, pour out, that is going to pour out, it finds itself in abnormal places. Number one place is around the intestines. The other place, it is around the organs, like I already mentioned, the liver, the kidney, the heart. Are we together? Into the blood vessels. It tries to feed itself in there and also under the skin. Then you find you have this, because of too much fat. This place here attracts so much fat because of the tissues that are here. For them, they can easily expand. And remember, even when you eat food, it is just here in the stomach, and from the stomach it easily find itself here. Then those fats now you find yourself like this. Are we together? Then the organs, you know what will happen there. I've already mentioned about that. Okay? So we need to cautiously take in what is just enough. Here is the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing is that when we are eating, we normally respond by what our mind tells us. The stomach communicates to the mind, then the mind tells our mouth that you see, you have taken until you feel. It's not about how much of the nutrients that are in the food, but it's about you feeling. You get it? And now the unfortunate thing is that most of the foods we eat, by the time you get food, in one eating, you're eating what you're supposed to eat for the whole week. You're eating just in one eating, one serving like this, you're taking what you're supposed to eat for the whole week. And then you're supposed to eat supper, and then even the other day you will eat, even the other day we will eat. So the excess is going to become dangerous. But how does this food come to have the excess? We have what we call refined foods. Now, these refined foods, they are made in a way that they become concentrated with especially what we call the calorie. Now, these calories, through the processing in the factory, makes this food more concentrated with calorie and less of what we call fiber. Fiber is the part of the food that when you eat food, for it is going not to be absorbed into the body. It is the what you remain and you pass out as a fecal matter, right? So most of these foods are less in the fiber because of its processing. The factory processing, you look at let's say the portion. Let's talk about also that's maize. Then we have wheat. You know, these two, and also rice. Now, these three, many of us today, I'm sure, if we go to eat, we must all at least come across one of these. Almost all of us will come across these. Now, these are refined. They go through factories to make them more fine. But as they are making them more fine, they are making them more dangerous. For maize, we are supposed to take it as the way it is. When you take that refined number one, almost everything that you eat there gets into your body. You get it? Actually, you find that you would need something like as much as this fist of mine to be enough to supply you all you need. But what happens is on your plate you have like these 4 big fists. You have rice added, you have carrot added, you have pumpkin added, million all is there. You get it? Now that is disaster. Because like I've showed you, you're eating for the whole week in one. That is our maize. Wheat, now this one is, for this, is even dangerous. And now this one here has been modified in many ways that some of you eat wheat when you do not know. How many eat noodles? Noodles, spaghetti. Most of these people don't know they are eating wheat. Noodles, spaghetti is wheat. Mandazi, all so many things. All this is refined. That is almost everything you eat. One characteristic that tells you that you're eating refined is these foods, when you eat them, you tend to have constipation almost all the time. Because what remains is something small to pass out that even in the intestine, your intestine relaxes and feels there is nothing. So you just relax, there's nothing to pass out, you end up having constipation. Same thing with rice. Now, then, as if this is not enough, now, these, as we are talking about these refined darlings of ours, there are these three things there that today are becoming, should I call them, to me I will call them, there's what we use called narcotics, dangerous drugs of addiction. Now these three, as people are running after those who are smoking marijuana, as those people are talking about alcohol, as people are talking about all those other drugs that you know that are dangerous to people. Yeah? And now for you here, you stay here in your tie and you say, me, I don't smoke. Those people, let them smoke, they will die. Me with alcohol, ni murokole. Ni murokole. Even when they put the song, Chirona Misana, Olimuchi, Olimurokole. Well, you're Olimurokole. But these three, put with this, are the dangers. They are the sorrows, but also the pain to this world. Because the food industry, as you know, there are two people collaborating when they do not know actually. They collaborate when they do not know. The food business people and the pharmaceuticals. Now, these two, they collaborate in a way that you do not know against almost all of us here. How? The food industry, everyone is fighting to ensure that their product is the one that is going to be consumed. There are people who call food engineers. Now, food engineers, they are equated to, in the world of technology, science and technology, they are equated to what we call addiction experts. Now, addiction experts in the technology, you all use WhatsApp. Yeah? WhatsApp has been evolving with new features that make it so nice, and you're like, every time you want to check on WhatsApp. Now, there is someone called addiction expert. The addiction expert is paid to sit down every day and think, how can I try and make this WhatsApp more interesting for someone that every second they will check their phone to open it? All social media, leave alone the WhatsApp, Facebook, all of them have addiction. Their job is to ensure you get addicted to it every time you're checking on it, because when you're checking on it, that's when they make money. You get it? Addiction expert. That is their work. Now, in the food industry, they don't call them addiction experts, but they are doing the same work. They are called food engineers. For their work is to ensure they use these three. And if you come in contact with their product, you will not remain the same. You are that very one to the extent that girlfriend will check you if you don't buy them that food. They will even take her away from you. Someone will take her to KFC and they were like that. The other one, Ambrose, who is letting him go away with his nutrition stuff. Whatever he's talking about, if I die, I die. Because the food engineer has done a great work of what they are paying him for, to ensure that he uses these three: salt, fat, and sugar, to ensure that you are trapped beyond recognition. Now, salt is good, right? Fat may be good. Sugar may be good. What is the problem? Many of us take 10 times much salt that we need every day. 10 times than we. Fat. This one. Just that sometimes we are limited by our pockets, but most of us, if our pockets are okay, we shall go 100 times. Sugar. For this one, actually, the processed sugar, you shouldn't be taking it. So you somehow you're already beyond measure. Are we together? These three, a combination of them, today are the ones leading increasing what we call NCDs, the non-communicable diseases. Cancer being number one. All of these can contribute. Now for cancer, especially these two, sugar and fat, they help cancer to grow very well every day, like in rocket science. Hypertension, this is very key for hypertension. And today, younger people, and don't be mistaken, now this alone is what will make someone who will be very thin. And I have seen this with many people who are very thin. They think for them they are safe. And so, even when they eat and don't grow fat, they are like, but mind you, you can have hypertension even when you are as tiny as. You can get cancer even when you are as tiny as. Because of this ill eating. You may take too much fat, and this fat may not manifest by making you grow fat, okay? But it goes in your blood vessels, it goes on your organs and attaches itself there, and then at the end of the day, you are gone. And I know what we actually say, these products in most cases they are labeled and they will tell you we have this amount of sugar, we have this amount of salt, we have this amount of fat. But I want to tell you this. That is now for the packed products. These people are never trusty, are never trustworthy. There is a study I was following. It was done in the UK and the US. And these companies, big companies, were someone including the Coca-Colas, including the Pepsi, including the Nestle. You know Nestle? It is the leading producer of foods around the world, including supplements and children products. And they came to agree, and they actually agreed and said the truth is sometimes we also fall short. So, ladies and gentlemen, why are we sharing all this? Remember, we said whatever our product is doing is supplementing. Yes? So, before you supplement, do these basics. Okay? Because I'm going to show you that even when you're fulfilling, let's say, everything that we are talking about here, at least there are those fallbacks. But prevention on the road by wearing a helmet or lowering speed may not mean that you will not get an accident. But let it be even when everyone will come and say, but even if it was you, this would happen to you. But you know when something happens to you and everyone is like, never. You get all of it. Let it happen and everyone will say, Manai, never dance. But everyone is seeing you, the way you're eating. Hajat will forgive us, those who have the other thing. For you, you order 2 kilograms and you're like, you see, I'm fuck with the car. Okay. Maybe this is where I want us to score ourselves. Okay? When we were talking about the what type of food you're eating, then we talk about the how, then we talk about when, then we talk about how much. Now, here it is to do with restriction. You restrict yourself. What kind of food do I eat? Are we together? It is always hard to restrict yourself. But I'm going to share with you tips on how you can do that. I'm drawing this as, let's say this is human brain. You know, restricting yourself is not easy on what to eat. We all agree that is very hard to choose and say, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat this. It is very hard. So here you find yourself because you're willing. There is will. There is will. So we look at willpower, but also the environment we are in has certain foods it has. So it is willpower versus the environment. When I say the environment, I mean, okay, you have gone to a restaurant. Your willpower is saying you that I need to eat healthy, I need a balanced diet, I need some vegetables, some green. But then, the environment where you have gone, okay, where you have gone, what is there? So these two fight each other. The willpower, you willing, okay? Actually, I came to realize people may say that people are eating unhealthy because they don't have knowledge. Many people have knowledge. Many people are informed. But the environment is challenging. But also, some of us push ourselves in these environments, or even when we are in an environment that has the right foods, we make wrong choices. So these are two things that we have to do. I drew this structure of a brain, wanting to tell you that number one thing that you can do when you're going to buy food, whether you're going to the market shop or to the supermarket or to the restaurant, in most cases, especially when you're going to the supermarket shop, avoid going when you are too hungry. This is the reason. Our brain has 3 compartments. Number 1, number 2, number 3. The number 1 here, number part of the brain is the most advanced. The most advanced is the one which helps you make critical decisions. Critical decisions, I need to do this business, I need to marry so and so, I think, Now, then we have the middle part. The middle part is always responsible for when you are actually not aware of what is happening and controls many of the other things. Then there is this other lower part, which is the least advanced. Now, the least advanced is the one that controls our appetite, our hunger. Now, in most cases, when you are hungry, this most advanced part switches off, and it is only this one which is functioning. Now, what happens when you go to the supermarket or the restaurant? You feel like everything you can eat, you feel like they should give everything. That's why even when you take party, they will give you matoke and let's say some yam and pumpkin. You feel like if there is no portion, you not get satisfied, because the other part, advanced part of the brain, which should inform you that man, you need to eat healthy. Remember, it switches off. You're no longer yourself. That part has already switched off. You're using the least advanced part, and then you make wrong decisions. This is the part actually that is also responsible for emotions. This is part responsible for emotions. That's why when people are emotional, they make wrong decisions, and they will tell you, please, once you're annoyed or you're too excited, don't decide. Don't do anything. Don't take action when you're annoyed, excited, angry. Don't decide, because at that point it is the least advanced part of your brain, the dark part of your brain that is working. So the decisions that you take here are likely to be danger to yourself. So, but how do you do that? In most cases, this is what I practice myself. When I find myself I'm very hungry, before I walk to a restaurant, I will get a yogurt and take it. You get it? And then water. Someone may say yogurt is expensive, it's 2,500. Get 2 yellow bananas. Some places in a good season, 2 bananas are 500. Get those 2 yellow bananas, eat them, take a bottle of water. There is spice for 500, and also Nirvana, which is a good brand. I'm not marketing for them, they have not paid me. But that 1,000 you have taken in yourself. It is healthy. 2 yellow bananas, a bottle of water. It will calm down your stomach, and it will help this most advanced part of your brain to function. You get it? And then you will make good choices when you eat in that restaurant. You get it? You order where you not say emere, you nah. Then still on this, what happens if, let's say, you're home, it's the weekend, or even this is not the weekend, all of a sudden you feel hungry when you're home. What happens? You're going to look around and say, what is around for me to eat? So what does that mean? It means when you're going to stock food, don't look for a biscuit to be what you keep in your house. Keep a bunch of yellow bananas instead of biscuit. Because most likely, at that point when you get hungry at home, in the middle of the night or during the day before you prepare yourself to go out, you're not going to say, I need to eat a yellow banana, let me go and look for it on the roadside, or even the market is very far. You're going to eat. So that we call it set a default environment for yourself, okay? You set a default environment for yourself by ensuring you have right foods. And now this works for mothers who are here. I have received so many mothers complaining about eating habits and nutrition of their children. This is important for you. Set a default environment for your children. If your child wakes up and they want to eat, what will they find around? Is it crisps? Is it gorillas? Is it a cake? What is that you will find at home? If you set that default environment, setting a default, we all know default settings in the phone. That those ones you don't tap on them, they are the way they work until maybe you buy another phone. So you also set default settings, default environment of food at your home. That I will stock yellow bananas, I will stock mangoes, such that when these children wake up and they want to eat, they will not go to the roadside to buy themselves borillos. They will only jump onto. For us who grew in the village, we know this, that you wake up and a jackfruit is what is around, you eat that. A mango is what is around, is what you will. Okay. Another thing that will help you to ensure you achieve this restriction. But I think I have exhausted this. That is enough. Let's move to something else. So, how? Some of you get what is right and spoil it. You get it? There is a saying that even when there is a saying of that you're sitting on you're on the right track. But I normally say someone can be on the right track, but they sit badly on it and fall off. You have eggs are good, right? But you, instead of taking them boiled for you, decide to fry. You get it? Now that is, you're on the right track, but you're sitting wrongly on the track. You have, let's say, chicken. Chicken can be taken boiled. You get it? But now most of these chicks that we have, the chicken we have been raised on non-organic foods. They already have fat, but someone you still want to fry. I've seen people who fry nuts. I have seen people who fry. Let's talk about when. Now, this is very key because it helps on how you will function, especially. That when you wake up in the morning, what do you begin with? Are we together? Do you, early in the morning, wake up and now jump onto a whole plate of meat, water, and everything? You look for a meal early in the morning? Now, early in the morning, when you wake up, your intestines are still there, they have been resting. The very first key thing will be a glass of warm water. Are we together? A glass of warm water, followed by a healthy snack. Now, a healthy snack can be nuts. When I talk about nuts, it can be nuts, it can be cashew nuts, it can be almond, whatever you can afford and whatever you can find. It can be like pumpkin seeds. Then it can be a yellow banana. We start warm water. Trust me, you will be energetic. If you can get also a glass of, let's say, a glass of milk, it is also okay. But don't, someone gets milk, gets a glass of milk, gets omelette, gets the eggs and fries them, yeah? Gets like 2 eggs and fries them. And then here, they put cake, the cake or even chapati. Now, my brother, my sister, you know, most of you're eating like as if they have told you that this is your last time, this is your last supper. So please, you're meeting the Lord. You're going to meet the Lord Jesus Christ. Please have it all. Like, they used to tell us that when someone is going to be executed, they are going to be put on Karabai, that they will tell you, request everything you want to eat and drink and everything. So some of you are eating like you're going for execution. You bring everything, you feel like you want to enjoy it there and then. And indeed, it is going to be an execution of yourself. You're going to execute yourself. To add on this, when we have just briefly at breakfast, then on your lunch, I know most of you may not have time to do what we call the mid-morning snacking, maybe around 11, but if you have that privilege, around that time you can jump on the fruit again. Jump on any fruit. And I recommend fruits that do not have too much acids that are going to maybe bring you ulcers and all that. And many of them, it can be a pawpaw, it can be a watermelon. All of these Many people, when we're telling them about dieting, they are talking about it's very expensive. These things, there are people who will be walking around and they are just cutting it there and then for you to have it. It can be a mango. All of this will help you. And the benefit of doing this is that by the time it reaches lunchtime, you're not going to ask for very enough. Because at that point you have something that has just settled in your tummy. Then the other part here can function very well. It can reason, you can reason against the one who is going to serve you this food. And they are telling you that you must eat this, you must get that. You're like, no, me, matoke, pumpkin, greens. That is all. You can reason. Are we together? Then, most importantly, let's talk about the dinner. In the evening, we need things that can help us generate what we call serotonin. Serotonin, okay. That hormone is the hormone that helps us to rest. Are we together? That is why there are certain foods when you eat them during the day, they stimulate the production of that hormone and you feel want to sleep. You get it? But if you eat rightly, you eat the foods that are going to help you give you that calm sleep. For example, if you can get boiled veggies, we'll call them vegetables, that will be a nice idea. You get it? Now, this is something that all of us be fighting against. We fight ourselves with our minds. What tastes sweeter for the tongue versus what you feel your health needs. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one gentleman who made a statement and said, if you want to succeed in this world, you must manage to tame the appetite of two things. Once you can manage to tame the appetite of these two things, food and what? And what? Someone is going to tell me that for me after taking my 100 tea, what do you want me to do? My brother, the most powerful soldier does not go around the road fighting everyone. They know when to use their power when called upon. So be that disciplined soldier that who knows that I have the power, but I know when to use it. I don't just think adamant to go around and see someone and it's like, I think I should shoot this one. I think I also this one. No matter how disciplined you are, if you want to think that you're going to fight all wars as a general, you're going to die young as a general. No matter the skills you have and the energy you have. So, after taking your 100, tell yourself that I need discipline as well. Food. Appetite is the leading cause for many problems of food. That is why, actually, when you look at our trimethorn has ingredients. Some of them help on calming down the appetite. Are we together? Calming down the appetite and also making someone feel the fullness that they have ate. You get it? But even beyond that, like we talked about setting a default environment for yourself, ensure that those times when you have that appetite, at least you're going to eat something that does not add problems to you. Are we together? Now, how much portion control, which is also related to appetite, we call it portion control, meaning you're looking at how much of the food that I have to eat. Sometimes you can be even eating healthy foods. But because you're eating too much of them, then it also becomes a problem. If they tell you that it is 2 eggs daily, now for you, because probably you have become financially stable here, then you feel like, I think I can afford 6 eggs a day, why not? My brother, my sister, you're going to end up with cholesterol in your blood vessels. It is going to affect your heart, your overall general health. And this applies to almost all foods. Are we together? Unfortunately, I am giving what we call general information. General information means it is on assumption that where we are healthy, and so we can use this information to improve some areas and maintain. But normally, if it comes to the nutrition, let's say consultation that you offer, now to go deep to look at other aspects of someone, and even maybe some areas someone may not even fit to eat the eggs. You get it? Or maybe I will tell someone that now for you, for example, like someone who has hypertension, maybe they have a kidney disease, I will tell you, you know what? For you can only eat egg white. The yolk, don't touch, because you already prone to cholesterol, so the yolk is going to disturb you, put it aside. So whatever we are sharing here, yeah, maybe I also need to mention this and make it clear. Whatever we are sharing here is general, but there might be more specific areas that maybe if someone is pregnant, what can they do? Maybe if someone has become to menopause, what can they do? Are we together? Or maybe if someone has this condition, what can they do? But this is general for someone who is okay. How do you maintain? Okay? Or how do you improve certain areas of yourself? Okay? So portion control is very important. Normally, we have what we call a healthy plate. If this is our plate, always want it to look like this. So where we have the energy, foods, then the building, foods, then here, these are protective or protective. Now the protective, that's why we have fruits, we have greens, we have vegetables or veggies. Now, you realize that these are taking the biggest part. Fruits, greens, and vegetables. Energy, giving your food so as a carbohydrate source. Matoke, posho, rice, pumpkin, yam, cassava, Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, all are under the energy foods. Then the bodybuilding, those are proteins, both animal and plant. Now, this is how your plate should look. It means half of your plate should have the vegetables, greens, and fruits. But guess what? Normally what happens is this. If this is your plate, many of you, this is what happens. Here you have the building, that is the proteins, or we call it sauce. Then the rest of this energy, all of that is energy. Now, you put in all of that energy and then come back here and sit. That energy, all of it, you're going to find that you only need something like this. Then the rest of all of this, is going to go and be converted into masavu. And like I said, sometimes it's not all about seeing yourself like this. This masavu can decide to not even be seen, but when it is inside, like I told you, goes and clogs all your blood vessels, goes onto the brain cells and everything, and you have problems. That's why I tell those who are thin or small not to be happy and say that for me I am safe. Ladies and gentlemen, we can have lots of conversation around this, but I'm trying to bring out a few things that could be important for us to take note today. Okay, now, having looked at all of this, one may think or may say that if I've done everything right there, I am safe. You may not be safe. This is why remember, when we were talking about refined foods, we say these are foods that go through multiple of production process. So by the time we have these foods, in most cases, they no longer have much of the nutrients. That's number one. Are we together? Processed foods. Then number two, which is very important, and I want you to pay keen interest on this, that did you know that even when you have, for example, a pumpkin that is supposed to give you zinc, you may eat it and it does not give you zinc? Did you know? Why? Because today, we all know that much of our soils have been depleted of nutrients. And many of our crops that are being grown using artificial fertilizers. Now, these artificial fertilizers make these crops grow, but literally when they are almost lacking. Are we together? It is the same thing like you may see me here when I may be looking shiny and looking healthy, but when inside I am very hungry. And for that matter, I will introduce a term called hidden hunger, which is related to this that I've talked about. The foods themselves being deficient of nutrients. There is this term here called hidden hunger. Hidden hunger is when one may look healthy, like you may look at me here and I'm looking healthy, but when I am lacking micronutrients in my body. Now, the lack of micronutrients, by the time it manifests, that now I can see you and say you lack a vitamin B12. See you say you lack a vitamin C. Now, the worst has come to that because they are micronutrients. They are needed in small amounts but have too much of importance. But by the time you realize you need vitamin A, or by the time you realize that you lack vitamin A, it is when they are telling you that, Madam, I think you now need the specs of this type of lens. Your eyes are already gone. You became hungry, but you did not know. The hunger, you could not see it. It was hidden. And it comes about because of us taking these foods that do not lack, that lack these micronutrients. Unfortunately, it is hard for us to avoid because, like we agree, that most of the foods that we are taking are processed. Even those that are not processed have been grown on soils that are deficit of nutrients, and therefore they cannot have the nutrients that our bodies require daily. And that is one of the reasons why everyone will need to supplement. You get it? Remember, I've mentioned there that supplementation is ingesting or taking in those concentrated sources of specific nutrients. It can be to prevent disease, or it can be just to address a specific nutrient deficit. But all in all, everything is aiming at the end of the day, to ensure that someone is having a general good health. Okay, I know you know this. What supplements are, what dietary supplements are. They can have one or more ingredients. They could be vitamins, they could be minerals, they could be specific herb contents or amino acids. Now, many of us will always be a little bit hesitant until we become ill. And that is a practice that is in especially Africans. There is a recommendation by World Health Organization that everyone should visit the hospital every year for general health checkup. One of the checkups that you do, or one of the tests, is to find out, they draw your blood and find out the nutrients in your blood. How many of us have ever done that? Has anyone ever done that? I don't think. So that means we are walking in the dark. We are walking in the dark. All we can do is probably, they will tell you in the church, this year I declare that you're going to be healthy. You say, amen. Take it. You say, I take it. You take it where? For as long as you do not eat like we said, and then come here and supplement. The other important thing is, remember we talked about exogenous molecules, things that we find in our environment. That is what is very interesting. Now, because of the environment that we live in, number one, let's begin from where we are. The toxic gases that we inhale from the roadside, they have fuel gas particles. Those fuel gas particles, especially like lead, when they go into our bodies, they are the ones that cause what we call oxidation. They cause oxidation or bring about oxidative stress. And we all know that this is the one that leads to many other problems like cancer. Are we together? Then the other issue is we take in too much fat. Remember I told you? Now, fat encourages inflammation. Now, inflammation will also go ahead and bring or cause or lead to oxidation and finally also to cancer. Are we together? the foods we are eating are supposed to be counteracting that. Actually, let me also mention this. It is said that if you eat, let's say, 1 gram of fats and oils, you should be eating an equivalent amount of vitamin C. But some of you spend a month when you have not taken any fruit. Do you know why? Why we are saying that when you take this 1 gram of fat, take vitamin C of an equivalent amount is because fat is what is mostly subjected to inflammation and oxidation, and therefore leading to so many illnesses that come from oxidation. It's not only cancer, also diabetes comes from that. So many other, like arthritis, so many other, that here there is dementia, there is aging. All of this comes from oxidation and inflammation. Diabetes, cancer, dementia, aging, arthritis, all of those. You're taking fat, remember, and most of us, almost every day, we are consuming lots of fats. And the fact that we cannot get these nutrients in whatever we are eating, now, that is where you're going to come and you have to take your hair, skin, and nail to help you counteract this aging because of the inflammatory processes that is going on in your body, because of the oxidation that is going on in your body. Are we together? We are still talking about the environment. We have talked about the gases. Now, let's talk about those things that you deliberately take. We begin with those who smoke. You're taking the nicotine. Now, someone was telling, I was thinking about smoking, and someone said, there's a serious cigar. They're quite a shisha. And I'm like, Bambi. Because shisha is actually the most dangerous. You know why? Shisha is just tobacco that has been put with flavors. And when I got a chance to have a pack of it and read through the components that it has, one of it has what is called glycerin. Now, glycerin, I know many have got this glycerin to use it as a cosmetic. Yeah, it's a good component, it's a good one. But now, why they use it in tobacco? This is the reason. We use this glycerin, by the way, still in crops when we are applying chemicals on crops. Now, this is the relationship. In crops, when we're using glycerin, we use it to ensure it has to make this chemical get stuck on the plant, such that even when it rains, this makes it, I can spray right now, even if it rains 1 hour after, I am safe because I had a component called glycerin. It ensures that this pesticide gets stuck on the leaves of the crop. Now, for someone who is smoking something that has glycerin, this nicotine goes and sticks. You get it? It ensures it reaches and they feel it and it stays in. That's how dangerous shisha is, even compared to the other casual smoking. But someone feels because it has a flavor, it's not dangerous. You get it? Poison, even if they make it sweet, even if they put sugar in poison, it remains poison. It doesn't change. They've just added the flavor, but it remains poison. So that is the other one. Cosmetics. Ladies, we love you, we want you to shine, we want you to look nice. But don't just jump to anything that you find. Now, as you may realize that you may not do along with it, then come and do what? And supplement. Because your skins, even when you're taking those things that are the ones going to make your skins healthier, instead, actually, when you leave them in a day, you look as older as my grandma, yet you're my sister. So, that is the other reason why you need to supplement. Are we together? Then, we are busy executives. All of us here, we are in the category of the corporates. We are very busy. A lot is happening in our minds. By the way, the most active organ in our body is the mind. It consumes the largest energy ever compared to any other body on our part. Even if you decide to run with your feet, the feet may never consume the energy like the brain consumes. Are we together? And by the way, have you ever wondered why, among all creatures on earth, the human being is the one that controls the planet? One we want to argue that it is because God said it so. The thing is, we have the most advanced brain. Most advanced brain. The thinking is what makes you control. That is why even you see in the bush, in the wild, the lion is not the biggest, but it still controls and jumps on others and eats them and all that. Because the lion, among those animals, it has its brain is wired in. That's why they always encourage people, motivational speakers will tell us that think like a lion. The mentality is mental, is the brain. We have the most advanced, that is what enables us to control the planet. Even when we're not the biggest creature on this earth. There are many animals which are bigger than us, but they cannot control us. But the unfortunate thing is that most of us have turned this brain now to go against us by doing otherwise. So, for that matter, therefore, you will now talk about a product like Focus that you need to have it to ensure your brain, as you cannot get all ingredients that are necessary, the zinc, the enough iron and all the likes, to ensure your brain functions well. Now you come in and you need to supplement. Are we together? As drawing to the conclusion, I want to first repeat this statement, that living in the modern world, one has a responsibility towards themselves than ever before. What does that mean? It means everything you do must be intentional. And there is nothing that is going to happen just by default. That ngabo cyalo kuvada wekiva n'oluberebe bwekyali mu luberebe bwekiva muki bwekiriba. Things cannot work like that. I am a Christian, a strong one by the way for that matter. I believe in God. I pray every time before I do anything. But I well know that God put us on this world to dominate it, to use the things that we have here and be successful. Do not focus on one element that I am making money. It is all roads. You see, like we shared about the pillars of health. Yeah? We have only talked about two of them. We have only talked about two of them, right? But the most important ones. Not that these other ones are not important, but because today we have to share those as they are key components of health. I've just mentioned that I am a Christian. I wanted to say we can pray. Yeah? But remember, God gives life. For health, you choose. Health, you do what? You choose. If you choose that for me, if they tell me that I can supplement and I don't want, me, I came here to make money, I don't want to supplement. Before you know it, you're going to be moving around and then you tell someone that, you see, this can help on skin and hair, and then someone looks at you and looks you from the shoe to the head. He's trying to look at, but if these things can, if this supplement can help your hair, your skin, why? Why are you? You get the whole thing. So, in other words, if you're preaching water, take that water. Don't preach to us water and then the other most important thing also that we talked about some bit of small science. When you go out there, know the science talk about and the science not to talk about. And maybe the other thing I will tell you is, before you interact with anyone out there, first understand them, right from what they do, what they go through. Some years ago, 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years, a gentleman came to me and he was with some company of wellness marketing a product. And so the gentleman sat me down. I said, I was good. I said, let me listen. So the gentleman started and then he brought even some science, and then he drew stuff. And I'm like, okay. He had not known who I am. He had not known my background. Then he started messing up. You get it? At that point, if I was a potential client, then he has lost me. You get it? So you must be keen on who you interact with. Know them, first know them. Know their challenge. Don't just look at him and because he's a man, you're like, ask for you need anointing. You get it? First understand them and be like, let them be like, feel like they are your partner in whatever is going to happen next. If it is their health, you're becoming a health partner with them. Let them not look at you like someone who is just chasing to make a sale and run away. You get it? Eh? If it is okay to share with them one of the tips on diet, it doesn't mean that they are not going to support you, because we have already seen it. That much as you may eat, even if you, every time you're going to eat and read through a nutrition and diet book, that for you, before you eat, you have to first read there. Still, you will need to supplement. Okay? So, and the word is supplementing. Like I told you, don't tell someone, no, it is supplement. You get it? Because of the current modern world that we are in, this comes as a necessity. I took time to read through many of your products, to interact with them, and look at the contents that we have in many of those products. They are good and wonderful ingredients that are in there in those products. And the fact that they are natural, me having gone to nutrition and dietetics, I spread the gospel of somehow diverting from conventional drugs. Okay? There is someone, a renowned publisher of medical books called Mayo's Medicine. If you go online, you'll find them. Mayo's Medicine. He said the best medication is no medication. When I was reading through that book and I found that statement, I was like, wait a minute. He's a person of medicine. He has published books that are most trusted by physicians. He said the best medication is no. So anything you do, this conventional medication, it means if you're to prevent yourself from medication, it means you must ensure you prevent diseases. And one of the things to do with preventing diseases is nutrition, then supplementation, such that you don't find yourself taking antihypertensives daily, you're taking antibiotics daily, because once you're on those drugs, actually, they will lead you to many other diseases. The likelihood is once you become diabetic, once you become hypertensive, and also this one, yes, it's not a lifestyle disease, but it is also important, which is HIV. Once you become HIV positive, many of these diseases that require take conventional drugs daily will end you to have another disease. If you begin with diabetes, you end up with hypertension. If you begin with hypertension, you may end up with diabetes. And if you have the end of the two, you may end up with cancer. Because of those drugs you take daily, they will push you to having cancer. They will damage your liver, they will damage your kidneys, because the kidneys and liver are working on these drugs daily. So the best thing is to prevent yourself from having those diseases by nutrition and supplementation. Ladies and gentlemen, our CEO deserves a mighty clap because thank you. Because I normally tell people you can run around and make money, even if you own this voodoo complex. You can even own this voodoo complex or even the men on the road. But you can fall sick with a chronic illness and you sell this building and you come back to zero. You know what? How much the need is ready to do a liver transplant? It's almost $1 billion. $1 billion. And even when they do that, you're not sure that you will survive that liver. You're not sure. Even the pain itself, leave alone even if you can afford the medication, the pain itself goes to having the disease. So the gospel of today is the gospel of heaven. Take it along with the gospel of life, and you live a happy man and woman on this planet. I know my session must have not been exciting, like the ones that give you the energy, but I know it gives you souls to reflect on. And to me, I always like to not excite, but to give sorts of reflection that will push one to behavioral change. Because most of this is not about just having information, but it's about behavioral change. Behavioral change. Okay, thank you so much. I am done. I saw someone